Hey everyone! So this is the first chapter of Dos Guiris sin Guia, the Spanish language podcast. My name is Miguel, and this right here, what's your name?
Hey everybody, my name is Andrew, or more commonly I suppose while living in Spain, Andrés.
Andrés. I am currently living in Nashville, Tennessee, and this man, where are you living at, Andrés?
Yeah, a little bit further. For the last 2 years I've been in Salamanca, and prior to that I was living in Arevalo, which is, well, we'll get into the Spanish slanders.
So I do believe I've heard a specific word for that. A pueblacho? A pueblacho?
Yes, there is such a thing as a poblacho.
Poblacho, sorry, poblacho.
Like, what did we call it, Mike? It was
A one-horse town. So he used to live in a poblacho, or a one-horse town.
Yeah, good times. And then, of course, there's the more beloved Quinto Coño, which is the fifth vagina for soft ears.
The fifth pussy. He lives in not the corner of the world, but the fifth pussy of the world, which is
quite distant.
directly in the center, in the Plaza Mayor, if I'm not mistaken, is actually the literal Quinto Coño of the world, is the Plaza Mayor of Arevalo, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure of the actual coordinates, whether or not that is valid, but it certainly felt that way when you're in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing but,
So Andrew and I both studied abroad in Madrid, Spain, the winter, the beginning of 2012, and we met each other there. We were with a big group of other Americans.
If you don't mind, I'll just take it away really fast. It all started, in the winter of 2012 when we went abroad for a program and lived in Madrid doing 5 months at the University Complutense de Madrid. The fellow students didn't have the same ambition to learn Spanish as much. They were mostly there to enjoy themselves. I was still living with my host mom. It was probably only 2 weeks in that me and you were rather committed to speak Spanish together.
The actual night that we really first met, all the other students had been saying that they were going to meet up at a bar, and it was some American bar. I think they had beer pong and shit there. And everyone's like, yeah, beer pong, let's go have a good time. And I got off on the wrong stop on the metro, and I'm walking around and I don't have anybody's really number, and I think almost totally randomly just ran into you at a bar.
We saw each other walking. It was only by coincidence, and I was also extremely turned around. That fucking cluster of a city, and we definitely just opted, after searching for a while together, to just go get beers by ourselves.
Yeah, and we were like, fuck that.
Shooting the shit, and stories started flying, and yeah, dude, we got to know each other in the matter of one night. That was baller, man.
I feel like it was
It was while we were piece of hunting. I remember very lucidly going around, and we were trying to talk Spanish the whole time.
Oh my god, it was so hard. It was so difficult.
Dude, it's a constant challenge, and that's gonna be in front of you, but not even just the first year or 2 years. You're always gonna have this compelling feeling that you want to go back to English, because it's just comfort zone, man. You really can express yourself fully, but something about me and you were just hell-bent, determined on learning Spanish. Dude, bear in mind, we had very little time. We had, 5 months on the calendar there? So, we wanted to get really good in a tiny window.
I remember getting there and being like, oh, wow, this is a lot harder, and they're speaking a lot faster and with a much stronger accent than anything I've ever heard before. And I remember at a certain point being like, wait a minute, why am I not progressing that quickly? I should be getting better, and I didn't feel like I was. And I feel like that was kind of what was, at least personally, going through my head, was like, whoa, we've already been here for however long it had been. It was probably only a couple weeks at that point. But I remember distinctly having the feeling of not really progressing.
We made a promise, or a pact, to just, when me and you are together, that there would be no English in the conversations. And so, taking this into account, I think that we got a lot of stuff that we can offer to people. There has been, by and large, no other thing that started. Me learning Spanish so fast, other than me and you just deciding to talk to Spanish to each other. Like, that being rule number one, priority number one, helped drastically, dude. I mean, even if like our fluency wasn't taking off, we were getting some really nice phrases, you know, like things that you can just, to, as you put it, pepper the language and give it a little bit more life. Like, those were there at least, and it still felt a bit inorganic because there wasn't that much time.
I feel like the way that Spanish, or the way that all foreign languages are taught in schools, is just absolutely not the way anyone is ever going to be able to truly learn it and truly speak it as a real useful tool. All it takes to learn a language is actually speaking the language. That's what's necessary, and that's the only thing that's necessary. I didn't feel like I was nearly to the same level until I started forcing myself to actually speak all the time, even when I was slightly uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah. Brain is like a muscle, so is learning languages, hence why after 3 months you can make leaps and bounds of progress. Not exactly. Think of it much more like a tendon, and it's going to regenerate every 9 months, rather. Like, this is slow, dude, and you just gotta stick with it, I suppose. And it's just not one of those things that you can do in a classroom every 3 hours and go to some escuela de idiomas and pay 200 euros, and after a semester be a changed man.
A huge important thing to keep in mind, and that can be so frustrating, is thinking that it's a linear progression. It does not work that way. I remember being so frustrated when I'd be learning Spanish and I felt like I'd have weeks where I thought I was getting better every single day. And then I would have 3 or 4 days in a row where I felt like I could hardly talk at all. And I could be understood, but I thought my pronunciation was getting better, my vocabulary was getting better, and all of a sudden I woke up one day and I couldn't, and I felt like I couldn't speak it at all. It's hard at first to force yourself. Once you do that for 2 weeks, it's easy. Then you just continue the routine.
So here's the deal. We're making a podcast that's virtually geared for, I would say, anyone that thinks they're going to find it frustrating and needs to hear from the point of view from 2 people who have taken the time to cultivate a skill, which is learning languages. I myself learned Spanish, German, and then to an extent French, Italian, and Portuguese, and I know the struggles, like the ins and outs of learning a language. Those difficulties blow, all right? And the people that we think this would be most applicable for, not that, you know, it's capped in any way, but for others that are doing the Auxiliares program, which are native English speakers living abroad, people that are in that position could really profit from this podcast. On the other hand, adults trying to work their way through learning a second or even third language for that matter, there's a lot of hiccups and roadblocks, and me and Mike have a lot of tricks and tools to probably do that. So I think that this is rather wide-ranging as far as how many people it can help with learning languages.
I would say definitely people studying abroad too, which is not necessarily something that we said at first, but yeah, people studying abroad.
Yeah, you can take it away. I'm sure I left out a couple of things that we need to talk about.
Well, I mean, dude, that or people just traveling to Spain or to Mexico, whatever Spanish-speaking country. I think that's mostly what we're going to focus on, is people who are learning languages as adults or as young adults. I feel like that's something that a lot of people have the opinion that if you're not speaking fluent Spanish by the time you're 18, you're never going to be able to fluently learn it. And I just totally do not agree with that. I do not agree with that, and I want to show people that it's possible to learn a language at any age.
I feel like one of my underlying objectives with this podcast is to totally dispel that belief, which is really widespread, and hopefully demonstrate, like, anyone who listens to this would then feel rather confident that at basically any age you can learn a language, and that most of the limitations we kind of just fabricate in our own mind, and it comes from not wanting to feel uncomfortable and going back to first plate. right? Like, everyone wants to be an all-star, no one wants to be a rookie. And the thing is, you just got to start from square one, and then you will learn that language. But that's only if you don't give up, I suppose.
Oye, bien dicho. Very well said. Bien dicho, Andrés. Bien dicho.
Gracias, tío.